Blaney went to move up, make a pass. Byron blocked him. Got him really.
Oh, Byron Blaney
turned
into the wall.
Kyle Busch.
And just like last year, Blaney gets caught up in the big one.
It starts with the Blaney behind William Byron. He goes to make a move. Byron with a big block. Watch this. Kind of a late block. Got him stacked up. Went back to the bottom. Side draft and then just stacked him up behind him.
Kyle Busch got into the back of the 24 and turned him sideways.
And did Brad Keselowski get into the back of Kyle Busch? Two cars slam together and Harrison Burton takes a wild ride through the grass and up into more traffic, gets tagged, turned around, and 5 cars are in it. Ryan Preece.
I think he missed that inside wall. Harrison Burton, big damage on the 21 car.
And Carson Hocevar, the rookie, gets taken out into that very, very wet grass in the ball field.
Well,
the Wood brothers trying for their 100th ever NASCAR win, and Harrison Burton gets tagged and sent.
Well, this is exactly what you don't want to see happen. Something early in this race where everybody's trying to race hard, and we just talked about those guys going to that third lane, and it puts those guys in the middle lane in a bad spot with the handling of their cars that they hadn't really been in. Let's see what happened, Clint.
Watch the 21, Harrison Burton.
Okay, you see Harrison Burton in the middle of that 3-wide conversation we're talking about, and we were also talking about John Hunter Nemechek kind of being iffy on his move.
Now the 42, John Hunter Nemechek on the outside of Burton, the green and white car, and Brad Keselowski and he make contact.
Keselowski got to his rear bumper, just took a little bit of a love tap, turned him sideways, kind of looked to me like he was on the left corner of that bumper, turned him right down into Harrison Burton.
Well, it's
now Logano the outside. They can't get around.
Oh, Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more.
All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. I mean, it's a parking lot down there. Cars parked everywhere.
Blaney out. Big damage on him.
Toe link broke on the back. That one's done.
Keselowski all wadded up. Gilliland, the black and red car, right with him. Anthony Alfredo there.
Reddick, massive damage on him.
Thursday night winner Tyler Reddick. Martin Truex. Eric Jones comes to pit road. So does Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin made it back to the pits. So did Chris Buescher.
Well,
a lot of damage.
It just always gets to this point as you get to the end of the race. The pushes get harder. Everybody's just throwing caution to the wind to say the heck with it. I'm going to the front. Martin Truex tore it. He's tore it bad right there.
Well, Chastain, I mean, I'd say he was a lone wolf up there. He was throwing blocks left and right, and they were making moves.
They start zigging and zagging here, and
well, obviously William Byron and Bowman, that's where it ended up. But the movement from the 6 and the 22, jockeying for position, trying to outduel one another to that position of passing Chastain, that's what stacked all those guys up and got them in trouble. Those guys were going for it. Chastain was holding them up. You saw the 6 go to the bottom. You saw the 22 go to the outside. The race was on, and unfortunately those guys behind him.
This gives you a much better view right there. You see the 24 car just being pushed, and sometimes you're not aligned, and you know you're not lifting, and that car gets to moving around, and you hope it works out, and it just didn't work out right here.
We saw this same scenario playing out at the duels the other night when Blaney got in a wreck. You really can't pin it on anybody. It's hard racing, everybody going for it, but when those cars move in front of them, it slows the energy down.
Oh my gosh. If that left rear quarter panel wasn't curved in a little bit. I mean, it went right with the curvature of the left rear quarter panel.
Ross Chastain and Brandon McReynolds did a phenomenal job of keeping those guys behind him. Had he slipped up one time and missed a block, he'd have been right in the middle of that.
Trouble! One car slides to the infield, Austin Dillon, and they pile up behind him.
That's 2 weeks in a row early out for Austin Dillon. I don't know how much damage he has, but there's a bunch of them, folks. You got Gregson in this, Bell. There's a right rear. I think Austin may get away with just that tire damage.
Just let us know what we got to work on. Solid right front.
Yeah, and Clint, as we go back and look at this, you're going to see them all stack up really, really bad in the middle of the straightaway, but there is a ton of cars that have damage.
All the drivers that had trouble in qualifying are caught up in this.
Always the risk, right? You know, you start at the back of these fields and you put yourself in harm's way, but man, that is not what a lot of these guys wanted to see early. This is a big wreck.
Austin Dillon has not left the scene down there in turn number 1. Alex Bowman with a lot of damage. And Harrison Burton appears to be involved again. Noah Gregson, I say again, he was taken out in, lap 6 of Monday night's race.
Yeah, and you talk about Austin Dillon. He scored 1 point last week.
Let's look what happened. It stacks up on this outside, folks. If you watch here, these cars right in through here all start stacking up as they catch them. Accordion effect. We've saw it at Daytona time and time again. Look at the accordion back here.
What happened was Todd Gilliland trying to make a hole for Michael McDowell to get up in that preferred lane in the middle, stack that whole lineup really hard.
Those guys had nowhere to go, didn't see it, landed right in their lap.
What a mess. Watch Todd Gilliland, the 38 car right here. He's going to check up to try to make a hole for Michael McDowell, and it checks up this whole line. And all of a sudden, that accordion just gets deep.
Denny Hamlin just missed the 3.
You see Harrison Burton around.
Still 3 abreast. Couple of rows deep right there.
The speed in the 14 is what makes him dangerous. He's able to
4 wide.
Puts him in bad spots. There he goes. He's around.
Yeah.
Off the nose of Denny Hamlin, who also is involved. Chase Briscoe. Larry, you missed it by a lap. I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, and that's exactly what we talked about, Clint. You know, Briscoe just kept putting his car in position after position, bad spot after bad spot, and finally it has bit him.
Well, the speed in his race car enabled him to do that. You know, I'm not putting that on him. It's the package, right? Denny Hamlin, he was a contender. That car was capable of getting the job done. Finally did him in. Going back to that, tons of speed in that car, but it was kind of a dart without feathers. That thing would get down there and force him in a scenario to have to make a move. It was time and time again. The speed down the straightaway land a problematic situation in your lap by the time you got in the corner.
And there you saw Denny Hamlin's right front wheel is locked. He's just going to try to nurse it around to pit road. Full moon this weekend. Anybody surprised? No, not me. Chase Briscoe climbs out after a very eventful day.
Well, you see Chase Briscoe right here. Got up in front of Bubba Wallace, tried to go through the middle, and they were too wide below him, and he just lost it.
Shot the gap one too many times.
Yeah, and you want to be aggressive, and you want to keep doing everything that you need to do to go forward, but at that particular point, he just got a little tap from the 11 underneath him there because they were 4 wide. There was just nowhere to go and wound up getting spun out.
Can't say he wasn't going for it.
Or commit to running as long as they can, but these guys
the wreck
Trouble
here,
turn
guys.
3.
It's
Bubba Wallace and Eric Jones.
Oh my goodness.
That's exactly what happened. You couldn't do that. They were single file.
Yeah, the air cleaner is completely off of Eric Jones's car.
Now, this is the group, the Toyota group, guys. They were single file driving off, as Kevin was talking about, getting into turn 3.
What in the world?
Denny Hamlin is in it, down in the apron. Oh, and John Hunter Nemechek as well. So that is half or more of the Toyotas are taken out in this crash. Eric Jones has put the winner net down. The AMR safety team is right there.
Let's get a replay and see what happened here. What went wrong?
A shocker. Bubba Wallace climbing out. John Hunter Nemechek, it appears, got into the back of one of those two cars, and chaos resulted.
Okay, here it is. John Hunter Nemechek, you see, starts with the 42 car into the 23.
Well,
see him move up. The 23 actually gets into Jones, and then they start moving around, stacking them up.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what we were talking about earlier, over that tunnel, you see the back of those cars moving around. Look at that. See the back of the cars moving around, and as they're moving around, they come down, and they're all connected in a they're not lined up, I guess is the best way to put it. It just gets them out of whack.
Now, Denny Hamlin was to the inside. Somebody must have slid down into him off the banking.
That is a good plan gone wrong.
Good Lord.
Well, let's watch for Martin Truex.
Tip tight. Watch your bracket. Bottom.
Yeah. Nemechek came down and tagged the 11.
Now, obviously pushing very hard on one another, capitalizing on this opportunity that they gave themselves. But
yeah, and you just see those cars go over those. Oh my gosh, what a big shot by Eric Jones. But you see those cars go over that bump, and all of a sudden they're misaligned.
Boy, they had them. They had these guys on the ropes.
Now we'll get NASCAR's view from the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. Wow, he hit Hamlin really hard and sent Denny into the outside wall at almost a 90-degree angle. Push from Truex. Keselowski as well. Here comes Gragson.
Energy's on the bottom. It's deteriorating on the top.
Now, does Keselowski, is he wingman to McDowell, or does he have a chance to win this race? Off turn 4 for the final time.
Comes a run by Brad. There he goes to make his move. He's going to switch back over.
Oh, the block, and around goes the 34. And Reddick steals one.
That was almost exactly how Brad won this race, his first race. Huge wreck here, guys. Reddick.
Oh my God! Great work, guys! Woo!
Tyler Reddick for the win. Everybody else wrecks.
You knew it was coming. McDowell was trying to block. That run was coming.
A dejected Michael McDowell drops the window net.
Great work, guys!
Didn't make it across the start-finish line either.
Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan will get to celebrate as car owners. It'll take a while to get the list of cars involved.
Keeping the Michael McDowell up in the front of the pack,
but I loved what he did here. He pushed him away and created a gap. He drug that brake, got this momentum built by Gragson off his bumper, and away we go. Make the move to the outside. McDowell blocks him high, goes to the bottom, and look at the energy coming with Gragson. Brad was able to utilize that block, pushes him, and that was one block too many on McDowell's behalf. Turned him around.
And look at Reddick. Maintain his foot on the floor and shoot through as mayhem develops behind. The first 4 cars get by unscathed. Reddick, Keselowski, Gragson, and Berry.
You know, Michael went up to block. He knew that this was his opportunity. Just a huge move right here. And just came across the nose of Brad's car right there. Tyler Reddick never lifted.
Watch the 7 here. Well, I have to get to a different angle, but man, he was into the wall and
he was up on his side.
Yeah, for a long ways.
LaJoie ends up 19th as a result of that. Joey Logano kept driving it across the line, and that's how he ended up unofficially 14th.
Well, I promise you, he had his eye on that start-finish line. If you can keep your car straight, you're not going to let off until it's sideways and uncontrollable.
There you can see. Watch the 7 car get up on its side.
Oh, it's
all
upside
the
down.
way upside down.
Underneath Josh Berry.
And it's still sliding on its side all the way down the wall.
Yeah, he's going to finish the race.
Look at that. That is wild. I thought I saw that.
LaJoie, 19th.
Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, it's going to go over.
Kaz Grala has wrecked the front end of his car, coming off turn number 4 and comes to rest just past the start-finish line.
Got loose up off the corner. Oh, overcorrect.
Man.
That's hard. That is a huge hit, Kevin.
Yeah, and that's just one of those things you learn.
All right, so he is communicating to his team on the radio, but that was a violent hit.
It sure was. Wow. I saw a lot of wheel in the car in the middle of the corner. Looked like it then started to catch up, got loose, and man, what a massive overcorrect.
You saw the flames come out of the pipe. He dumped the throttle right there, and when you're in that scenario, you got to try to walk it off the corner. But when he dumped the throttle and he put all that wheel to the right, as soon as it slowed down enough and
front tires finally caught up.
Yeah.
Wow. He hit extremely hard.
He said on the radio, that was super unexpected. I was going to bring it to you that lap. Wow.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when these tires start to wear like that, Mike. And we talked about it at the beginning. You know, these cars just get to a point where they start to feel funny and things start to happen different. And I think that was one of these scenarios right here.
A big push by the 5, and up the racetrack he catches the 1. Chastain into the wall. Big contact, caution comes out again. Gabe Hart said, I only have one chance at a green-white checkered, as we see Austin Dillon shoving the 43 of Eric Jones. Chastain, the window net down.
From having a chance to win the race to having your day done.
Kyle Busch caught up in it as well, Rick.
We knew someone was going to make it 3 wide. But behind them was 3 wide. But that right there, just Larson gets up the racetrack. He was pushing. It looked like he was pushing Hamlin.
Something
and he just lost the front.
Something sparks, Jeff. Watch the front of the 5. I don't know if he hits the apron. Something seems to spark when it turns right. Hard to tell from that angle, but from behind, it looked like the left front might have caught the apron, really shot the 5 up the racetrack. Take a look.
He's in the back of the 11 right here. Gets on the apron. That's the splitter hitting the apron, and now it doesn't turn.
You and I were out there. That yellow paint is not on the racetrack like other racetracks. It's on the apron. So when he touches that yellow line, that is the flat.
It's like he's pushing Hamlin, trying to move him up the racetrack to try to drive underneath him, but doing that, he wasn't able to get his car where he wanted it to go.
And there's zero doubt if someone was going to wreck, they were going to wreck in front of Kyle Busch. I mean, they've done everything right today. Everything right for the Zate car, and here he is, the one dead sideways in front of him. Nothing Kyle Busch could do different.
Right along with Larson.
It's just pushing too late. You're trying to push down the straight to get momentum, but now you're pushing in the corner, and it's just too late to do it.
Just 2 by 2, stay up, wreck it, come down, hang on. Unbelievable, hang on up there, it's gonna drop.
of the dry line. We'll see if he does it on the backstretch. The leaders.
Oh,
big
wreck.
1 and 2, big wreck, yellow is
Gregson, Austin Dillon, both around. We saw the 43 of Eric Jones avoiding.
Austin Cindric in it.
71 also caught up here. Zane Smith.
Bubba Wallace.
Big wreck.
Again, a playoff contender. He is right on the cut line right now.
The thing just looped around him.
Prior to that wreck, he was +5 ahead of Joey Logano.
You heard him say it just looped around on him. This car is done. Winding that down. All right, Noah Gregson on the bottom of the racetrack. See Denny on the outside. The 10 just comes right around, takes the 23. Austin Dillon, been that kind of year for Austin. He is, if he's in a place, there'll be a wreck in front of him. It's just been terrible.
Pretty big hit right there for the 23.
And this is what we talk about. You know, everybody's like, hey, let's go, it's rain tires, but it's inevitable people are going to overstep their bounds, trying to learn how much grip these tires have, how hard can I push the race car. It's just a learning process. You can point your finger at Noah and say, you know, you shouldn't have done that, but it could have happened to anybody in my eyes.
Running along with the 6. Watch his right rear tires. Well, already happened there, but the right rears were on the paint when that thing started to go around. The painted line. Oh, excuse me, the 10, yes.
Yeah. 23, obviously not happy. Well, maybe he's a little short of his own stall. Maybe a quick run there. I thought he was trying to say something to the 10, but maybe that's just where it stopped.
See, Chase Elliott got out of line there in that third line as Kyle Busch. Steve, you said the goal was to get out in front and go as hard as you can until you have to come to pit road.
We heard Denny Hamlin. No, I'm sorry, it was Chase Elliott in his interview said, well, you just want to be the front of your strategy. Oh, man, big wreck.
Oh, and hit again.
Oh,
that's the 24 of William Byron. A.J. Allmendinger in the 16 involved as well. Caution has come out as those two cars have stopped. And that's on the backstretch after they exited turn 2. Allmendinger is rolling once again. Still waiting for the AMR safety crew to get to William Byron. Over the radio, William Byron has talked to his team already. There's the AMR safety crew getting to William.
We talk a lot about, you know, the fame of this racetrack and the historic nature because it is front and center. But you've mentioned it a few times, this just overall speed. We've seen over 200 miles an hour. A football field a second at the end of these long straightaways. And it's not very wide. I mean, you look, there's a little bit of grass, that soft wall, so you can get more than one hit, right? You can get outside and inside wall.
With these restarts, we've seen how important track position is. And that means on these restarts, that's your time to get it. That's your chance to go make something happen.
Good shot there of seeing William climb out of the car. Here's how it happened.
Oh, somebody got into the right rear of...
Looked like the 22 potentially of Logano behind him.
It looked like there was two cars or three cars 3 wide. Let's take a look right here. You see, oh, you're going to see it right here, the 21, 41, and 24. So the 41, if we back that up and watch that one more time, the 41 is trying to get 3 wide between the 21 and the 24, trying to make it 3 wide. I don't believe Harrison Burton or William Byron knew that they were 3 wide. This will be a great look right here.
Oh, they're hitting each other there. So he's in his right rear quarter panel. You're right. It was just everybody, 3 cars. Here you go. Here's a great shot of it, Steve. So right, stop it right there. Stop it right there. So the 14 car, they are touching those two cars, the 24 and the 14. They're hitting each other there. And still contact. And here comes the 41, and he makes contact. It's just those three cars trying to go in the same spot. But it started with the 14 of Briscoe and Byron making contact.
They were pushing and shoving, and the 21 of Harrison was exiting the corner like he was too wide. He doesn't know that the 41's in there. So, man, this is what happens when everybody tries to fill that hole. But, Jeff, to your point, on board makes a difference. Let's see what happens to the 14, why he loses pace.
That was a great launch by the 11 car, Denny Hamlin.
Oh, and into the turn one wall early. The 22 of Logano and the 24. It can't be the 24. 84 of Jimmy Johnson.
Well, business is picking up. Clearly, caution before this one. Now this one, all on restarts.
Yeah, third restart accident today.
Yeah, it's just, you can see how important track position is, and you have to get it on these restarts. And it just puts you in a position of doing things you don't really want to do. You may want to lift, and you can't. You may not want to put it 3 wide, but you have to. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of 3 wide guys blocking. It's 77.
The 12. 12 was sideways. Looks like he hit someone.
Yeah, but watch right here. See that in 3/4 of the way back, Hocevar in the middle trying to make it 3 wide. They're coming to the corner. Everybody's got to start slowing down and trying to get to their line. Blaney doesn't know he's there, pinches him off. That's where it starts.
That was Austin Dillon's view, vantage point.
Big impacts for Jimmy Johnson and Joey Logano. Here's Joey Logano's ride. Let's listen.
Big shove there coming from the 3 of Austin Dillon to Ty Gibbs. Pushes him out and trying to close the gap on Chastain and Busch, who rocketed on this restart. Oh, and around goes to 5.
Big
Kyle Larson involved in this one, as well as the 14 of Briscoe. Multiple cars. You see Buescher, last year's winner, in the grass.
Buescher's one of those guys. He's racing to try to get in the playoffs.
A lot of damage.
Does he have?
Look at the damage to the 5 of Larson. Christopher Bell, Gilliland also involved in this. You mentioned those points. Buescher fighting to get into the playoffs.
Doesn't look bad. Of course, we can't see the other side. The nose has some damage for sure. The splitter on the left front, that does not look good, Steve.
Nope. Very big damage for these aero conditions. The 5 of Kyle Larson sitting in the grass on the front stretch.
Corey LaJoie bringing out the caution. He was just upside down. Rolled back over onto his tires once he hit the grass. Great sign right there when you see the window net come down. But oh, what a wild ride Corey LaJoie just had.
Slid forever on the roof down the backstretch, then the grass got him tumbling again. You see the damage to the roof of the race car.
I happened to look out of the window and I saw he was in the air.
See the AMR safety crew immediately to Corey as he climbs out of that race car. Remember, these cars over 3,000 pounds, and take a look at how he gets upside down.
Just going by Noah. A little bit of contact with the right front fender. Car turned sideways and just flipped in the air. That is, quite honestly, that's just not acceptable. There's no way that a car, when it turns like that, should get up in the air that easily. There has been millions of dollars and hours of time spent to prevent that from happening. That's going to catch everybody by surprise.
And you see right there, slide, that gives you a great view of the whole underbody we talk about, the underwing, everything that people talk about for damage, and then here it catches the grass and a couple pretty violent tumbles. I mean, you said it, Rick, 3,000 pounds. It looks like a Matchbox car just tumbling through the grass. Let's watch it again, Jeff.
This
he
is
has
earlier.
a big run.
This was earlier. So this was they were racing. This was the lap before, and you know, obviously drivers upset at each other. But you know, right here, I just feel like, yeah, he's just turning, right? And I can't tell from this shot if Noah comes down or not. But either way, this car to get in the air like that is shocking.
And Steve, you've shown us over and over when those flaps open up, that's supposed to help keep these cars on the ground. We saw the flaps open up there, but that thing immediately got upside down.
And then right here, upside down into the wall. Yes, Rick, to answer your question, the roof flaps are designed to keep these cars on the ground. That car left the asphalt faster than I have seen, right? I mean, when it turns sideways, I mean, look how violent this flip is. Wow.
What a win would do for him tonight. Incredible. And he fits into that category. Oh, and here we go. Chastain's involved. Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson.
Such a calm point in the race. It was too wide or single file, and all of a sudden chaos.
We're still rolling. We're still rolling, but we got damage. Bring it right.
Look at Noah Gragson. Bowman's involved. Truex gets going again. Ty Gibbs in the 54. And Corey LaJoie, who was having such a great run.
He's stuck. All the tires are down.
Hamlin. Bad week for the 11. The points penalty and now an accident early. Let's see what happens, Jeff.
Oh, Noah. No, I don't know if Noah's getting pushed and lost control. Then he goes to the left. That's what it looked like to me. He just immediately shot to the left. Here you go. Being a big pushback from Corey right here. Shoves him to the left. He has to correct it. Then he comes back across the racetrack in front of Corey. And that's what we talked about earlier. You can push and you can shove, but when you don't do it correctly and you get it wrong just by a little bit, you mistime it, this is what happens. Here you go. Watch the 7, the 10, the 1. The 10 is against the 1. The 7 starts pushing him. There's nowhere for the 10 to go.
It's way further forward over these closing 8 laps. Coming up.
Oh, they got together at 3.
Whoa! McDowell goes up high. Larson is in it. Reddick's in it. Logano, Wallace, Haley.
That all started in turn 3. Cindric tried to lift to prevent it from happening, but he did not lift quick enough.
It's the second big one of the night. Larson will be left waiting and wanting that top 5 again. McDowell went for a wild ride. Let's have a listen to his radio.
Can't find that. That was uncalled for. Wow, super uncalled for. Yeah, I don't get it at all.
Well, we talked about it. It's 9 to go. And the aggression level is through the roof.
Joey Logano, who led 34 laps tonight, his Coke Zero Sugar 400 is over.
Watch right here. Watch the 2 car. All this was off of turn 4. All right, so now they're going down the front straightaway. Watch the pipes on the 2 car. He sees it starting to happen. McDowell pulls up in front of him. A push from Barry. Tries to get to the outside, lifts right there, and still contact. And then, look at this.
Whoa. And Michael McDowell, who knows what it's like to have a massive crash at a high-speed track, got away with that one.
See the fire come out of the pipes of the 2 car? He was being pushed by the 4. He knew he had too much speed. He was doing all he could to prevent it, but it just could not get it slowed down. Steve, the additional aerodynamic devices that were applied on the cars this week to prevent the cars from getting in the air.
Absolutely. It's impossible to know exactly what part or piece, but clearly the 34 was on his way upside down and came back onto its tires. The work by NASCAR. Look at this right here. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do.
Go for Ricky
that
Stenhouse.
extra work by NASCAR helping. This is the concern, right? When you're hit with another car, when the 22 makes contact, the 34 instantly goes in the air. And if this car continues to tumble, it's the 22, 23 down the line, but it comes back, I say onto the tire, onto the wall actually, and then makes contact with the tires. You see Bubba Wallace in it, the 45 of Reddick in it. Both 2311 cars.
This is the view from Kyle Busch. Whoa! Berry's gone, and he goes up and over. Huge hit for Josh Berry. Eric Jones is involved. There's Austin Cindric. That was wild. There we go. Now the AMR safety team content. And there's Josh. There we go. There's the thumbs up.
That was a scary wreck. Watch this car, how quickly, when it gets spun, contact. The 2 is getting pushed, and as soon as that car was pushing him, got turned around and went. This is what scared me, because Josh is hanging on his belts. He's not in his seat. He's hanging on his belts and has that frontal impact.
Everything that went right for the 34 to set his car back on the wheels didn't go right for Josh Berry, and I'm with you, Jeff. The flip is the first concern, but then the hit into the wall when gravity is pulling you out of the seat is just different. Multi-point harness is trying to hold your hips and your lower body tight into that seat. But as you run all day, the heat, the sweat, everything kind of loosens up a little bit. You have to keep tugging on those belts. It was so great for Josh to get out.
And again, that speaks to the structural integrity. Here's the view from Austin Dillon. Oh! Massive hit with Gilliland.
Austin thought he was going to miss it, and then Gilliland came from nowhere. So here's the push from behind, and then it moved the 2 car up. And again, pushing gone wrong.
What a violent hit.
See right there, there's the push. They all stacked up, the 8, the 20. Now the one thing about that car, when it's sat down on the roof,
yes,
look at the integrity of the roof. It's sitting there really strong. That's something this car is really good at. The older car, that roof would collapse. This car is much stronger. This is two weeks in a row, Steve, with cars in the air.
Yeah, a change was made. Obviously more work to be done.
That's very clear information about.
Whoa! That's a huge one for Larson. That car just snapped on him and went straight into the wall.
Hold on to it, hold on. Yeah, I don't know if I blew a tire or what.
That just snapped in a split second.
Yeah.
You heard Kyle on the radio, so I don't know if I blew a tire or what. Cliff Daniels has a look of concern on his face, and understandably so. That was purely violent. And thankfully, Kyle is out of the car.
You see, he's in the corner. Everything looks normal. Back end comes around, and then it went to the right. Now it appears to me. Oh, who hit him? Who was that got it? That's Briscoe. 2 playoff drivers. So that's one of 2 things. So watch this thing. The back end starts around first, and when it starts around, he overcorrects it. And that is that is very easy to do in this race car.
Just listen.
Oh.
So he mentions whether he blows a tire. I was wondering right front, but right there, it's clear it gets loose. Kyle Larson knows that as well. So I wonder if he's wondering if the right rear tire started to go down, which is what made the car loose. Kyle obviously has a clear understanding that it was the back first and then it turns right. And then this big hit by the 14. You mentioned it, Diff. So good to see Kyle Larson out of the race car. That is an absolute gigantic impact, both with the front and then a secondary hit in the rear.
And the Darlington winner, Chase Briscoe. His playoff run ends prematurely.
It's so disappointing.
AMR safety team there, very snappy, on the scene to help both drivers.
That's not preferred through that portion of the bus stop, but is preferred here. Give that spot to Cindric. Now they wreck. Christopher Bell out of the bus stop. Several other cars involved. Looks like Kyle Busch is in there, as well as a few others. Everybody should be able to drive away, but the Busch car is going backwards, headed down the bus stop.
And Denny Hamlin involved in that as well. Jeff, he's coming your way.
Yeah,
and the car doesn't look good.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin's coming my way. Kyle Busch, you can see the damage on his car, left rear quarter panel. A lot of smoke on the cars on this back straightaway. Denny Hamlin's car is damaged. Don't know if it's just a flat tire or if it's suspension damage. Caution flies over here. Denny Hamlin rolling by me right now. It's hard for me to know if it's suspension or tire, but smoke coming off of that car.
Ryan Blaney, we mentioned it, starting in the back, needed a clean start, got anything but. Blaney, Hamlin, both involved. Let's take a look, Diff. It's the bus stop. We heard him call it live. 2 wide up front, but they got through there clean. Back here a little bit further, you see a little tire lock up, a little bit of smoke, and then right there, kind of all on his own, the 8 gets spun around, and they pile in. Such a fast area of the racetrack. I thought that the 12 got through clean right there. A little bit of contact. It was interesting because he's down here at the bottom of the screen. I'm not sure what happened. Let's take another look at it.
Corey LaJoie in the 7. Watch on the outside too. Kyle Larson got extremely lucky. That's the moment where Busch gets turned. Christopher Bell, look at him go sideways and around.
What I don't understand is what happens to Blaney. Right, he's right here in the middle, just kind of going out of sight. We see the damage to the 11. Oh, this is on board Ty Gibbs. Oh, I said on his own, that might have been an exaggeration. I do believe the 7 got a little contact with the 8. Got him turned around there.
Here's the view from Hamlin.
Oh, right there. Right at the last minute. By side with Logano. Oh, Logano kind of gets into the 6 or vice versa, but either way, man, what a hit for the 24.
It was super tight. That is such a funnel through there. There was nothing between it. Here's the view from Tyler Reddick. Look up ahead.
Very, very fortunate for the 24. The double height of the Armco there, the extra 3rd layer, not just a normal 2-height Armco, but a triple height Armco.
Logano pulls out of the line. He's going for it. So too is Larson. Here comes Joey Logano with a big stomp. Boom! Ryan Blaney at the end of stage 2. Ross Chastain as well. The reigning Cup Series champ has a big one right on the line at the end of the 2nd stage.
That is huge right there. That has major consequences to the playoffs.
Blaney said, look at what we did last weekend in Kansas to show you what we're capable of. Think about how many times we've been taken out. Daytona, Watkins Glen, Darlington. And the AMR safety team are right there to assist Ross Chastain. Unfortunately for Ryan Blaney, the champ, it's happened again. And as always, we thank the AMR safety team for their swift, speedy response and the care of the drivers. Let's show you some replays on what transpired coming to the line to complete the stage.
Yeah, Bowman with just a push trying to get to the start-finish line to get the best finish. And the cars get very light in the tri-oval. There's not as much banking there. The cars aren't planted in the racetrack, and a little bit of push, it gets just gets Blaney out of control.
And a huge impact for both the 12 of Blaney, the 1 of Chastain. Watch this and listen. Just an enormous impact to that outside safer barrier.
And watch behind this, the 22 and the 11, both playoff drivers. 22 impact, 11 also a penalty. They're going to try to get around him. Todd's going to probably stay right to the bottom. This late in the race is no need in playing games with this.
This is what happened to AJ Allmendinger earlier. And look at that, look at the speed of the pack. Here we go. Cindric's gone, so too is Logano. Harrison Burton's in there. LaJoy.
The whole field.
My goodness.
Something stacked everybody up on the front 2 rows. The pushes got, something happened and slowed them down. Look at this mess.
With 5 to go, we got this far.
Logano's in it.
As a car, Logano went pretty early. Here's Gilliland trying to get back to it. It was Austin Cindric that was going down the backstretch facing the wrong way. LaJoy went off track, now he rejoins. Here's an interesting way to return to pit lane from
Reddick after the disappointment of Kansas. Bowman, a great run in the playoffs. He gets back to pit road to the service of his crew. The rest of this mess has to be untangled.
So, 2 of the key playoff players who got through that, Kyle Larson and William Byron.
Briscoe, all right, here it is. We were looking at the back of the pack. I knew something happened at the front to get everybody stacked up. Watch the bottom row. Right there. The 2 got so far out in front of the 6, and then with all the pushing and shoving, when he got to the 2 car, he was going so fast. Right here, boom, and around he goes.
He got there, and he was also kind of moving from right to left. He wasn't, you know, it happened so quick.
Look at the push. But this is what I saw.
That's
the pushing,
right.
And the 22 was getting pushed by the 21.
Right.
The 21 was getting pushed by the car behind him. It all happened, Diff, because the 2 got out so far. And that got mixed up when they passed the lap car of Gilliland. Yeah. That changed the energy of the pack.
That was a big hit to the left side of the 47. Unbelievable. The 47 was able to keep it straight. But if we watch that again, watch this 2 car right here. Gets pushed, bang, right off the 47. Stenhouse is able to keep it straight.
Look at the 9, Chase Elliott, big impact. You're talking about a big wreck with big ramifications for the playoffs. I mean, Austin Cindric's essentially leading this race, and if he wins it, he's advancing to the next round, and here he is, crashed.
Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, they sail through. Here's the view from the 47. Wow.
Logano's car, you saw it hop up in the air.
Here at Las Vegas, removing equipment on the green flag cycle, and now he's 2 laps down to the field.
Crash.
Big crash.
Car around into the wall.
Big crash.
Caution's out, it's Austin Dillon.
It was getting into turn 3. It was, I don't know what started it, but there was contact with another car, and it shot him. Just hung a right.
All right.
So you hear him on the radio. The window net's down. He says, "I'm all right," on the radio, but
it was. See, we talk about it all the time. That was back there in 27th, and it's fierce racing back there.
17 to go in the stage. To your point, you know, Jeff, you pass a guy, you think he's going to check up and let you into the corner or anything like that. You see contact, but maybe we take for granted just how fast this track is. Look at the damage on the right front of that car. Completely shortened up. Great sign right. Oh, a point. Oh, that looks like he knows something happened. I think Austin Dillon has an opinion on
who did it.
Somebody.
That was big, and here it is. It's the shots in the distance a little bit. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's Daniel Hemrick.
Oh, boy. That was a hard hit.
Yeah, that's Daniel Hemrick. They were all racing to try to be the first car one lap down, and it was really intense back there. And I'm not sure, you know, Daniel and Austin are buddies. You know, they get along well off the racetrack. I'm sure that wasn't intentional or something more to that story.
Jesus. I'm watching him watch me get in the corner, but drive into the bottom like he's going to miss it.
Yeah, 10-4. We'll go over it later. Definitely was back and forth in SFT2.
I was watching him watch me. I don't know. I guess they were racing, and he felt like he went in and blocked. It's hard to say from that, but obviously there's going to be some more conversations. I don't believe this is going to be the last of this.
Yeah, well, here you see it. Entering turn 3. It's just very odd. It's that time of year, though, Diff. You know, I got to tell you, this is the time of year we see these odd things happen. Think about fights on pit road. People get toward the end of the year, and the disappointments of the year are all there. They're all trying to make something happen. None of them are having a great day. They're running 26th, 27th, 28th. Frustrations go high. Joey Logano, he is flying on this restart.
Whoa, look out! Elliott's gone. Keselowski, Reddick, 2 playoff drivers in this wreck. And the car goes over. Tyler Reddick has flipped.
Yep, I'm good.
My goodness, what was the catalyst? How did that start?
Restarts. They are so aggressive. You've got to get spots when you can. How about Reddick flips and drives the thing back to pit road? Oh, that's a bad sign right there, Steve.
Yeah, I believe it's the left front that has the issue. Let's check it out, Diff.
So Reddick is up high. We'll look at the 45, the Jumpman car. There, there's contact. Contact maybe with Truex and Elliott. That was the spark.
It is. Truex and Elliott side by side. I don't know if it's contact or just arrow tight, but the 9 of Elliott up the racetrack, not meaning to, catches the 45. Around goes the 45, and as the 45 gets in here, he hops onto the quarter mile and gets upside down. Crazy looking accident for Tyler Reddick in the 45.
That is crazy.
Listen to this.
Yeah, contact. It just looks like to me, Truex is up the racetrack. Then the 45 goes over that.
Yeah, the quarter mile track.
Yeah, the quarter mile track. And when he hits that, it just rolls it.
And then he drove it back to the pit stall. The left front upright, I believe, is broken on the 45, so he's done. Which you would imagine after a wreck like this.
You see Brad Keselowski in it.
Chase Elliott's view.
You hear him out of the gas, right? So either contact, arrow tight combination. Chase Elliott knows he's in trouble. But at 170 miles an hour, you know, you're going to cover a tremendous amount of distance. And you see him up the racetrack, 45 trying to go by. You ask why the 45's there, because if you don't fill those holes, you will never move forward in these races. And it just runs out of real estate, exit of turn 4.
Something crazy going on behind this is the 12 car.
Austin Cindric trying to push his way through the middle there as well. Logano. Elliott dove down low. in that familiar blue and yellow Napa machine. Somebody's in the wall.
The 54 of Ty Gibbs. He had an issue in the middle of 3 and 4. I couldn't tell what it was. Then it looked like a mechanical issue that continued down the front straightaway. Then in the middle of the dogleg, a hard right turn. Heavy damage to the 54.
That was a massive impact.
There was some radio communication. That was a huge hit for the youngster, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, he's trying to get the car moving again, but I believe the damage is going to be too heavy.
AMR safety team, as they always are, thank you for your speedy service. They're always there to aid the drivers as quickly as possible.
It's only a 1 mile racetrack. I say only because we see 2 and 2.5 mile speedways, but Jeff, the speed is still evident with that contact the 54 made with the outside wall.
Yeah, such a hard impact. It's good to see the AMR team there checking on Ty.
What starts right here, this is in the middle of 3 and 4. They're 3 and almost 4 wide. The 54 is up. You see him slipping and sliding. I don't know if he has a tire down or breaks a toe link, but then right there, the car gets sideways. He corrects and gets into the wall. Ty Gibbs is a very, very talented race car driver. I find this shocking to think there's not a mechanical issue. There's no way at that point in the racetrack that is purely driver error. Something had to be wrong with the 54.
You see the flex of the safer barrier? Oh boy, that was a hard hit.
Man.
Fortunately, at the last second, he was able to get the car turned to the left a little bit. Watch this. As the car turns to the right, it looks like it's heading at that really, really bad angle, but he's able to get it turned left to get more of a side impact. That is a massive hit.
Massive hit. Scary for the drivers behind. Wow.
It's the end of his second full season for his grandfather's team, and it's ended not the way that he would have hoped.
So he was 2.7 back before these guys pitted. Oh, and he pits a lap too early, or maybe perfect, because now he has fresh tires. The 71 in the wall. Well, that looks like a right rear flat.
Zane Smith for Spire Motorsports.
Catch your breath. Catch your breath. Get your winning it down to Kansas. Coming to you.
Big hit for the 71. William Byron. This will work out very well for the driver. The 24 has fresh tires, but how about this hit for Zane Smith?
What a shame. There's been some really good high points for that young driver. This year he's unsure of his future. Good to see Zane out of the car. Here's how it transpired.
Oh, early, like he has a problem or a flat tire.
I think, there's some sort of problem, right? I mean, the thing went around so early and so fast.
Oh, man, that's a big hit.
This is only the second caution today under race conditions. The stage breaks were the other two, and both cautions, fellas, that we've seen have been huge hits.
Yep.
Ty Gibbs and Zane Smith.
Absolutely.
He had pitted about 15 laps before this happened.